I am a Star Wars fan. Not the new one. I'm one of those toxic Star Wars fans who adore everything Star Wars prior to the Disney acquisition. With that said, I think you can have a general idea of how much I hated Disney sequels and the anthology films. I'm not even a big fan of The Mandalorian, the live action crossover Star Wars universe. So you can imagine that I have no love for Rian Johnson after The Last Jedi. I know he is not the sole reason Star Wars is in the state it is in right now. If Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams made a shit and gave it to us, then Rian Johnson is the one who wiped that shit off our faces and peed on us instead. Talk about subverting expectations. Heck, the guy even talked shit about The Empire Strikes Back just because he couldn't deal with the backlash for The Last Jedi. I'm gonna be honest, I've only seen Looper before watching The Last Jedi. I don't necessarily love it, like it is one of the greatest works ever, but I can admit the guy had talent in creating new and original stories. He proved that once again with Knives Out, where he made, dare I say, one of the best detective movies in the modern era. Benoit Blanc became an instant classic, and personally, I can't get enough of it. Even with an Oscar nomination for the movie, I still hold back on giving my praise towards the guy. After all, I am just a man baby to him. There was still part of me that wished Knives Out was just a fluke after what he did to the Star Wars franchise. This time, thanks to Netflix, we got a sequel to the movie that I am glad to say that it is just as good as the first one, if not better. This time we follow Blanc to Greece, where a set of interesting and unexpected events took place, which eventually leads to another murder mystery for him to solve. As the movie goes on, the story intensifies and the situation gets more and more complicated, which gives Blanc more time to shine as the new world greatest detective. Hell, he even made that reference himself in the movie.
I'm not Batman.
This movie follows the same pattern used by the first installment, where Blanc seems to keep losing grip on the situation as things keep happening. Some of the details are not shown to the audience before the final reveal, just like the first one. But what makes it work is not letting the audience feel dumb, as what has been shown can totally stand on its own. Without the key detail, the audience can still fully understand what is happening and keep guessing like Blanc. And the eventual reveal is tied into the events that we saw perfectly, which suddenly makes everything click. It makes the story brilliant instead of lazy. Following the tradition, this film also starred an ensemble cast with lots of huge stars. Everyone is great in their role, Janelle Monáe in particular. But somehow, with such a strong competition, Daniel Craig still managed to steal the whole show. Whenever Blanc is not on the screen, I just beg that we can get back to him soon. But the scenes without him are not that bad as well. The script brilliantly rearranging the structure to let us care for Janelle Monáe's character before starting to let her take the center stage, while Blanc being sidelined. This makes the entire movie more interesting. The movie also explores some social issue within the high-end society, just like the first movie. Having Janelle Monáe's character coming from a lower status as the victim to uncover the dirty truth behind the betrayal and ruthlessness of the high-class people who will do anything in their power to stay at the top. In the end, unlike the first movie, this time the protagonist doesn't just simply win against evil, but simply cripple the high-end system and makes them destroy itself from within. And Blanc is just the guy who will uncover the truth and give it to the people who needs it to defeat the bad guys. As a sequel that inevitably will lead to more movies. In this one, we also learn a decent amount of information regarding the private life of Benoit Blanc, such as he is a close friend with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yes, they let the GOAT make a cameo in this. What a ride, man. We see how Blanc doesn't do detective work just to make a living. He thrives in mystery. He craves challenges like an addict. Setting the film during the pandemic amplifies that by having Blanc so bored that he never leaves his bathtub. His apartment is in total mess when the most important detail arrives: his butler. Like Alfred to Batman or Dr. Watson to Sherlock, Blanc has
Yeah. Can I help you?
Hugh Grant. Yes, Hugh Grant is his butler. I love it. Simple and minute detail makes Blanc a deeper and richer character, which no doubt will stand the test of time and become one of cinematic's greatest characters. To sum it all up, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery is definitely a worthy sequel and a marvelous addition to the Knives Out franchise. So my verdict for the movie is 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. It is on Netflix right now. See you next time.
Move along.